And away we go. Episode 1343 of the Al Galdi podcast. It is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. It is day one of the Washington Commanders' third of three-day sessions of OTAs in the NFL's 2026 offseason. And this is scheduled to be a busy three-day session with the expectation of head coach Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator Durante Jones, and a number of other assistant coaches speaking to reporters over these 3 days. So we should have a lot to discuss over the course of the rest of the week. Not that we in recent days have not had a lot to discuss, given the saga of our good friend, San Francisco 49ers receiver Brandon Aiyuk. Hello and welcome to this Tuesday installment of the Al Galdi podcast. Next segment, we will get the 49ers perspective on what's going on with our friend Brandon Aiyuk, as we'll speak with Sasha D. Robinson, writer for 49ers Webzone, a top site for San Francisco 49ers news, analysis, and opinion. Sasha is going to paint the picture of what has happened between Aiyuk and the Niners over the last 2 years, with the understanding that, there is just a lot that so many people don't know. But to the question of should Washington want this guy who so clearly wants Washington, further conversation next segment via a chat with Sasha D. Robinson of 49ers Webzone. By the way, this was NFL insider Ian Rappaport of NFL Network on NFL Network's The Insiders on Monday on the Brandon Aiyuk situation, and you'll hear Rappaport speaking with NFL insider Tom Pelissero of NFL Network.
Would rather this situation be settled rather than have this drag on through the summer. But that's the way I see this going on. First of all, here's what the San Francisco 49ers would like. They have his rights. He's not doing any guaranteed money because he forfeited that by not showing up to his rehab. So they would like to trade him probably to the Commanders with his old friend Jaden Daniels and an organization that obviously knows him well, considering Adam Peters was in San Francisco and all of that. What the Commanders would like to do is sign him without having to trade him. So, Tom, we're in a situation where nobody wants to move at all. They're all staring at each other. There's really no deadline to make a move at all. So until and unless everyone gets tired of Brandon Aiyuk sending Instagram messages, this is going to be a storyline that takes us through the summer.
Yeah, that's the thing. We may not have resolution for quite some time. I know that is not what anyone wants to hear, but the truth is we may not have resolution for quite some time. But Ian Rappaport reporting what we had assumed: Washington wants to sign Brandon Aiyuk, not trade for Brandon Aiyuk. And also on the show, I'll talk Washington Nationals and Baltimore Orioles. The Nats, they early Tuesday morning completed a tremendous win, a 4-3 win at the San Francisco Giants late night on Monday night in a game in which the Nats overcame a 3-1 ninth-inning deficit by scoring 3 runs in the top of the ninth. The O's, they lost their third consecutive game, a 6-3 loss to the Seattle Mariners at Oriole Park at Camden Yards on Monday evening. Before we get to feedback, some Washington Commanders news on Monday morning. The team has hired Jeff Kaplan as Senior Director of Player Health and Performance. He succeeds Tim McGrath, who left the team by his choice, has gone back to his native Australia. Jeff Kaplan has worked in the NFL for decades, worked for the Houston Texans from February 2009 to July 2025. Prior to his time with the Texans, worked for the Houston Oilers / Tennessee Titans from May 1995 to February 2009. So a lot of NFL experience. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me, the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. And in our quest for 2,000 ratings of the podcast, if you on Apple Podcasts, give the podcast a 5-star rating. On the podcast, we'll read whatever you write in writing a review of the podcast. But the review can include you saying something about sports. You don't just have to write about the podcast. From Eric on Apple Podcasts, writes Eric, as someone who has listened to 980 for decades, I'm very familiar with AG and love that I can still listen to his takes and opinions via this podcast. Very knowledgeable, insightful, and seems like an all-around nice guy. Great stuff. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much for that, Eric. The key word in that review is seems. Seems like an all-around nice guy. Little do you know, Eric, I'm a total jerk. From Scott S. on X on Brandon Aiyuk, off Niners head coach and former Washington Redskins offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan canceling the Niners 3-day mandatory minicamp this offseason, ostensibly as a reward for his players' great attendance and work at OTAs. That news came out last Wednesday evening. Right, Scott, is it possible that the 49ers canceled mandatory minicamp to eliminate the chance that Aiyuk actually shows up and forces their hand? If he showed up, they could not make him a non-injury holdout and keep him in limbo. I guess they'd potentially buy time until full camp to pursue trades. It just popped into my mind while listening to you speak about this on Friday's episode. Thank you for that, Scott. So this idea that the Niners canceled their mandatory minicamp because of Brandon Aiyuk has come up a lot. Now, I have not seen one reporter for the Commanders or Niners report this, and I have seen a number of people who cover and talk about the Niners strongly refute this. I'd be surprised if the Niners actually canceled their entire mandatory minicamp because of a situation with one player, but I'm not dismissing this as having happened. Here's the deal. Brandon Aiyuk is on the reserve/left squad list. If he reported to the mandatory minicamp, he in theory would have to be taken off that list, although it's not clear if just showing up would require the Niners to take him off the list or if he'd actually have to do certain things at the mandatory minicamp in order to be taken off the list. He, while on the reserve/left squad list, is not getting paid by the Niners and is not counting against the salary cap. If the Niners want those two realities to continue to be the case, then yeah, canceling the mandatory minicamp makes it so that those two things continue to be the case. Also, the situation could be as simple as the Niners just don't want Aiyuk around the team. So it is possible that this theory that the Niners canceled their entire mandatory minicamp because of Aiyuk is true, but consider this. If you are a win-now team, as the Niners are, competing in a brutal division as the NFC West is, boy, would it be bad to cancel a 3-day mandatory minicamp just because of this Brandon Aiyuk situation? I mean, boy, would it be bad to do a disservice to the entire team just because of one situation with one player. So I'd be surprised if the Aiyuk situation is truly what is behind Kyle Shanahan canceling the mandatory minicamp, but never say never. And while we know that Kyle Shanahan is a good coach, we also know that he can be petty. Very petty. He knows how to carry a grudge. He carried a grudge against Washington for years, so perhaps still does to this day. So I'm not dismissing this theory that he canceled the mandatory minicamp just because of this Brandon Aiyuk situation. Hey, please consider subscribing to this podcast if you're not already doing that. Subscribing to the podcast costs nothing. Make sure that you never miss an episode and helps out the podcast a lot. And if you're already subscribing, thank you. Look, choosing life insurance is tricky. Heck, life insurance as a topic can be uncomfortable, but Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. You'll get your lowest rate from Ethos' network of trusted carriers. And know this, Ethos has a rating of 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 4,000 reviews. Take 10 minutes today to get covered with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/Al Galdi. That's ethos.com/Al Galdi. Ethos.com/Al Galdi. Application times may vary. Rates may vary.
Quick question for parents. When was your child's last eye exam? Myopia, or nearsightedness, is becoming more common in kids, and it's not just about needing stronger glasses. If myopia continues to progress untreated, it may increase the risk of more serious vision complications later in life. The good news? An eye doctor can help identify myopia early and recommend options designed to help manage it over time. One of those options is Essilor Stellest lenses. Stellest lenses are designed specifically for children and are part of an approach to myopia management that corrects their vision while supporting eye health as their eyes continue to grow. They look like regular eyeglasses, but they're purpose-built for young wearers. Every child's vision is different, which is why starting with a professional eye exam matters. If you have concerns or even just questions, your eye doctor can guide you through what solution is best for your child. Clear vision today can help support your child's future, and it all starts with an eye exam. Visit Essilor.com to learn more about Stellest lenses and to find an Essilor expert eye care professional near you. That's ESSILOR.com.
So we on Monday's show, episode 1342, talked a good bit about what's going on with San Francisco 49ers receiver Brandon Aiyuk, whose desire to be acquired by the Washington Commanders has become very clear. The saga over the weekend reached new heights via a series of Instagram posts. Aiyuk on Saturday posted an Instagram story in which he in two photos was wearing a Washington Commanders hat. Aiyuk on Sunday morning on Instagram posted a 90-second video in which he seemingly spoke of the Niners not wanting to release him as being like a kid who was misbehaved, quote, running from the belt, end quote. Andy pretty clearly told the Niners to stop acting like, quote, a female dog, end quote, and pretty clearly told the Niners to stop acting like, quote, a little cat, end quote. Here you go.
We dealing with, like them kids when they don't get picked for the basketball game at the court, but they the ones that brought the ball. So they like, all right, y'all don't want to pick me? I'm taking my ball. I'm going home. Ass boys. Little ass boys. Or like when your kid, he got this one toy, but he don't really know how to use it correctly. So somebody else about to pick it up and play with it. And they like, oh yeah, this shit litty. And they like, wait, hold on, that's my toy. Ass boy. Little ass boy. Man, stop running from the belt. The belt coming. You scared. They scared. The truth is, they scared. They know how I get. They gonna say, oh yeah, BA did this, BA did that. BA did, that shit allegedly. But what they not gonna say is, BA suck at football because they know how I get. And they running from that belt that's on the way. It's inevitable. It's coming. Stop running. Stop being a female dog.
Stop being a female dog.
Stop being a little cat.
Being a little cat.
And stop running from the belt.
All right. Well, for a Niners perspective on this Brandon Aiyuk situation, it is a pleasure to welcome to the Al Galdi podcast Sasha D. Robinson, writer for 49ers Webzone, a top site for San Francisco 49ers news analysis and opinion. 49ers Webzone has nearly 64,000 followers on X at 49ers Webzone. Hey, Sasha, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself, sir?
Doing well. Nice to talk to you. If there is a deadline for resolution to the Brandon Aiyuk saga, the deadline would seem to be Aiyuk reportedly being due a $24.935 million option bonus on September 1st. Ultimately, how do you think that this situation gets resolved?
The main thing is because it doesn't look like it looks like he's diminishing his trade value, because it looks like the Niners are trying to get the best trade value from him, but he's hurting himself. So the best way, and if the 49ers release him, they're going to take a major cap hit. So I'm going to say they're going to have to trade him. They're going to probably have to trade him for a bag of peanuts or something like that, because they don't want to take that cap hit at all. But I'm thinking that you're going to have to get rid of him. And if you ask me, may the best team, if anybody wants him, good luck, because I don't even know. I haven't even seen anything about him rehabbing. I don't know anything. The only thing I know about him is just what everybody's seeing right now.
Yeah, and as much as the Niners want to trade Brandon Aiyuk, his trade value not exactly sky high right now. It was 2 off seasons ago, the 2024 offseason, that Aiyuk and the Niners had that prolonged contract extension saga during which he openly lobbied to play with his good buddy Washington quarterback Jaden Daniels. We on July 16th, 2024 had reports that Aiyuk had officially requested to be traded by the Niners. The Niners on August 29th, 2024 announced having signed Aiyuk to a 4-year contract extension through the 2028 season. Aiyuk in the Niners' 28-18 home loss to the Kansas City Chiefs on October 20th, 2024 suffered a torn ACL and torn MCL in his right knee. Niners head coach and former Washington Redskins offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan, he this past November confirmed that the Niners had voided the 2026 guaranteed money in Aiyuk's contract. That money was believed to be between $20 million and $30 million, and the voiding of the money essentially was due to him going AWOL. Where and why did things go so wrong between Aiyuk and the Niners?
I'm going to probably go back to when he really wanted his contract extension, probably a couple of years ago. That's where I'm thinking it because after that, he got his money. And then he got injured. Then he went silent. He went away. Nobody heard nothing. We didn't hear nothing about him at all. Not coming in for rehab, not showing up to meetings, and then all of a sudden, this is going on. I'm going to go back to when he really wanted to get his money. You finding out that he didn't get the money at that time. That's where I'm going back a couple of years ago. There's nothing else. There's nothing at all. I've been trying to do a lot of research about it. I don't like to speculate. That's me. I want to know what's going on. But everything about it just shows me like it goes back to that. That's the only time I could see it. About it. But after that, you got your money. So where is all this going on right now? Why is it that you don't want to be here? You were on a Super Bowl contending team. The 49ers were pretty much a play away from being champions. Then they could have probably repeated, at least tried again, but with injuries. And then you disappear. Where it is, you have a team that you grew up with.
It's funny because Brandon Aiyuk got the money for which he fought so hard and then forfeited so much of that money via not showing up for work. Are there any theories for why he was so willing to punt on that money?
You know what? Some people are saying CTE. That's going to be the go-to one. Let's say CTE. Maybe somebody ruffled his feathers within in there. But my thing is, you forfeited money. But somebody said it best, and I'm a believer of it. Is that if you don't want to be somewhere, you don't want to take that money, or you don't want something, you'd rather not take it. If you're really so angry with somebody. I'm probably under the belief of, again, don't like to speculate, but if I'm going to go somewhere, I'm thinking somebody probably in upper management really upset him about something, and where he's just got to the point where I don't want the money, I don't want nothing to do with you all. I just want to leave. I just want to go away, trade me, get rid of me. But that goes back to what I said originally. If you're really hurting yourself, not rehabbing. The 49ers during the draft, they could have gotten you could have been on your new team by now. So now it's to the point where it's like, yeah, well, I'm just going to cut these stupid videos.
You know the Niners well. They, in recent seasons, have had a lot of injury problems. Do the Niners have a bad reputation regarding treatment of player injuries? Like, could that be why Brandon Aiyuk stopped reporting to the team last year?
I mean, Nick Bosa, you saw how he came back a couple of years ago after that injury back in during the COVID year. He came back strong. I believe also Jimmy Garoppolo, he came back that time when he had that. You look at George Kittle. He had an ACL and he's believed to come back, but for week one, he's come back strong. We can name a lot of, even Fred Warner. Let's even go with Fred Warner. He's coming back strong. We can name a lot of key Niner players who's had major injuries, season-ending injuries, and they've came back strong. So if you don't trust it, then I don't know. I just named a whole bunch of all pros who came back and who's really on the verge of coming back stronger. So you tell me your reason why, because to me that's not an excuse.
What did you think when you saw Brandon Aiyuk's Instagram posts over the weekend?
I'm thinking like what a lot of Niner fans are thinking right now. You're pretty much gone. But and I was trying to decipher it, so I had to go to what I had to go to like Nightcap, and maybe they understood it. From my understanding, that he wants to be let go, and he's just pretty much saying, release me, stop acting like as he would say. A little cat. Stop acting like a I'm trying to think of the other phrase that he used.
Female dog.
Stop acting like that. Female dog. There we go. He said female dog. And just release me. So because I had to decipher it, because I don't understand what you're talking about. It's like a toy that you pick up. Like when you're a kid. I remember when I was a kid, and it's my toy, but somebody else. But my thing is that the Niners want you there. I don't know where you're talking about. The Niners didn't want you there. They wanted you there. Nobody, but you're the one who wants to leave. it's like everything last year was predicated on him coming back, but he never did anything for trying to rehab to show that he's coming back. So the Niners wanted you there. So I just think he's crazy. And if you're trying to advocate going to Washington, good luck to you. Because I'm gonna say this right now. Remember Deebo Samuel? You remember how he performed last year? You think you're going to get Debo from a couple of years ago, or are you going to get or are we going to get that guy, Brandon? You're coming off a major injury, and again, we don't know you're rehabbing. Football is football, but it's all about, are you healthy? Have medical looked at you. You just don't come back say I'm healthy. Let me go put on some pads and let's go. They're going to want to know, can you go? And are you going to be able to want to get the money that you did before? So good luck to you. If you want to, the Niners are willing to part with you for some late rounders, some seventh rounders. Good luck. I'll miss you because he's one of my favorite players, but it's just way too much of a distraction for a team that's looking to contend.
You brought up the CTE theory that a potential explanation for the bizarre behavior of Brandon Aiyuk is that he's suffering from CTE, or more generally is suffering from a mental health issue. Suggesting these things is entirely speculative, and I want to make clear that if he is suffering from a mental health issue, I have sympathy for the guy. But among 49ers reporters and fans, is there a legitimate belief that Aiyuk has a mental health problem?
A lot of people joke about it, or they make harsh criticism. Again, I've followed and I see a lot of fans saying, "Oh, he's got CTE because of some of the things that he said and what he's doing." Just like he's speeding by Santa Clara at 120 some miles an hour, and then he's over here, posting these videos. It's just all speculation right now. It's just when I see fans talking about it, because it's the go-to when somebody acts kind of not normal, I would say. A lot of people will just probably say, "Oh, he's got CTE, too many head concussions," but he hasn't been diagnosed with it. It's just all speculation.
Much more with Sasha D. Robinson in moments, but if you are a Washington Commanders fan, check out bgobsession.com, an outstanding site for discussion about the team, especially as the Brandon Aiyuk saga is going on. BG Obsession, or BGO, has been going strong since 2009. BG Obsession offers great contests, game day chats, and camaraderie. No politics, just football. Both old school and new school fans are welcome. Visit and join BGO at bgobsession.com. bgobsession.com, home to your burgundy and gold obsession. We're getting insight on the Brandon Aiyuk situation as we speak with Sasha D. Robinson, writer for 49ers Webzone, a top site for San Francisco 49ers news, analysis, and opinion. The Niners took Aiyuk with the number 25 overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft out of Arizona State, for which he played with Jaden Daniels. Daniels was Arizona State's QB1 for the 2019 through 2021 seasons. Aiyuk was a receiver for Arizona State for the 2018 and 2019 seasons. Daniels and Aiyuk are good friends. Also, Washington general manager Adam Peters was the Niners' vice president of player personnel when they drafted Aiyuk. Was the 2024 offseason the start of strange behavior from Aiyuk?
That was the start of it, because when he was there, those other couple of years, he was quiet. He went in there, he did his job. The 49ers were starting to pick up some momentum. Everything started to look like everything was going good. Him and Deebo Samuel were clicking. They were on all one sound, both of them, 1A, 1B. Great. He was coming into his own. And then it came to when they were on their Super Bowl. They were on their Super Bowl run. He was, he wasn't. He was happy, he was in love with Brock Purdy, who definitely came into his own. He was really getting the ball a lot more, even though Jimmy was getting the ball and he was looking good. He was looking good, but he was looking great with Brock. So I'm thinking those two are going to build together. And then all of a sudden comes the contract talks. That's where everything started looking crazy. But I would have never thought that before. He was quiet before. Niner fans were really optimistic, thinking he's going to get his money. Oh, he's excited. We looked like we got something going good. And then all of a sudden he disappears, removing his, you know how it is on social media, removing all his things about the 49ers off his social media page. making it seem like, yeah, I'm not, like he wants to leave. I remember about wanting to go to Pittsburgh, and I remember, other teams, all that nature. And then it's like, where is this coming from? This came out of nowhere. Me and a good friend of mine, we were talking about this, and he was like, what, didn't he have a problem at Arizona State? I'm like, I didn't hear about it, and I've never heard about it. I even had to look it up and see, like, did he have a problem at Arizona State? And then, I looked up, like, no, coming out, he had, everybody thought highly of him coming out of Arizona State. So this is just something new, and I'm just hoping that I'm thinking that maybe somebody did something to him, and probably that other year where he was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Brandon Aiyuk very clearly dislikes his current team. There's no question about that. During the opening segment of the show, discussed this theory that Kyle Shanahan last Wednesday canceling the Niners' 3-day mandatory minicamp this offseason is due to the Aiyuk situation, that the Niners don't want him to report so that they can leave him on the reserve/left squad list. Do you buy that theory?
This is the thing when it comes to the 49ers, and I believe this, and it's a fact. The problem is that a lot of people like to go on and assume the 49ers, whenever there's something that's going on, they'll let you know. They don't go with the they don't speculate. Whenever it comes to John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan, they'll tell you. This is the reason why I know. I remember when John Lynch, when he was hired, that came out of nowhere. And one of the main reasons why he was hired, he said, I wanted to know if there were going to be any leaks coming out of the front office, because I don't like leaks and all of these assumptions or something of this. I'm paraphrasing, being put out there. So he runs a tight ship over there. But then you have all these rumors, everybody saying, oh yeah, this is going to happen, this is going to happen here. But then to find out it's opposite, then I'm wondering, where did you get it from? Did you get it from the front office, or are we speculating? So that's why I'm like, I don't think that has nothing to do with Brandon, because again, the 49ers will let you know. Think about it again. I'm gonna go back to Deebo Samuel. When Deebo wanted to leave last year, they came out, oh, we're going to make sure that he leaves and trade him to Washington. When they said to Brandon, hey, he played his last job with the 49ers. He's gone. They're letting me know, we want you gone. They're not being around the bush about it. They don't like to speculate. They'll let you know.
Yeah, Niners president of football operations / general manager John Lynch, he this past January 21st during a press conference said of Brandon Aiyuk, quote, I think it's safe to say that he's played his last snap with the Niners, end quote. 3 years ago is a long time in the NFL, but the Brandon Aiyuk of the 2023 season was an elite receiver if Washington got Aiyuk. And if he was back to that 2023 level, what would Washington have in him?
Oh, he'd be great. That's the thing. When he got drafted, I wanted either Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. I thought one of those two could have been able to be able to fit the 49er offense. So when Brandon came in, I'm like, okay, I'm like, we're passing up on these two for him. He better be something. And then watching him as a rookie and how he just exploded onto the scene. Deebo Samuel got hurt. Then the next year, watching him just be able to find finding spots in the zone, going across the middle, not being afraid, taking you deep. And being able even though he hasn't shown that he can take over the game, but you have to game plan for him, and don't just make it seem like, yeah, he's just out there. He's just one play away. No, he can definitely hurt you. So hypothetically speaking, if he comes to Washington and if he's 2023 Brandon Aiyuk, along with Scary Terry, I think that would be a prolific offense that Washington would have if he goes back to that Brandon. That's the main thing. He has to go back to that Brandon. We don't know if he's coming back, because again, he's coming off that ACL, and I'm gonna go back to it. We don't know if you're rehabbing. All we know is you're playing around.
If I could ask you about Kyle Shanahan, so he was the Redskins offensive coordinator for the 2010 through 2013 seasons, has been the Niners head coach since February 2017. His regular season record as Niners head coach is 82-67. His postseason record as Niners head coach is 9-5, 2 NFC championships, but 0-2 in Super Bowls. Where are we with Kyle Shanahan as Niners head coach?
I want to say he's on the hot seat, but he's not. He's not on the hot seat. As much as I'm not happy about the fact that there are 2 Super Bowls in the grasp, and the 49ers, then they fell off and they fell short. But the thing is that in these years, the 49ers have been consistent. They've struggled. They found diamonds in the rough. They've got players. They're building something over here in San Francisco. I don't really think that I don't think Kyle is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. But let's just play the hypothetical and say that in the next couple of years, the 49ers, they fall short on a couple of these, a couple of things, and they can, and when they have the NFC West in their hand, and then they fall behind Seattle or Los Angeles, they're going to probably start asking people. It's going to start getting loud in San Francisco about, hey, Kyle, I don't think you may need to leave, because they're going to be looking at your history as not just a coordinator, as your coach. Right now, I was talking over with Mark Adams, another writer for the Webzone, and I had asked him, "Do you think so?" He said, "No, because think about what the 49ers did with less after all those injuries and making the playoffs and just one game short from getting home field advantage. That bought him some time." True, that is definitely true. I honestly feel that he's gonna probably be there for a couple more years. They'll probably extend him, whatever. But the problem is that if they can't get over the hump, they don't bring it in a couple of years, they're gonna probably start looking somebody else and have somebody else coach this team.
And to be clear, it is Kyle Shanahan, not John Lynch, who has final say-so on Niners player personnel, correct?
From my understanding, it is Kyle. From my understanding, it's Kyle. I think John just brings in the players, and he everything, but they work lock and step together. But Kyle had the final say. So when it comes to who's what, when, and where, I've never heard them argue about, I want this player. John would rather have this player here, and Kyle's like, no, I want this player. It's never like that over there. Kyle has final say.
Sasha D. Robinson, writer for 49ers Webzone, a top site for San Francisco 49ers news, analysis, and opinion. Sasha, thank you. All the best.
Thank you again, sir. And please have yourself a great day, okay?
Will do. You too. All right. Catering by Uptown. Whatever big event that you're planning, a wedding, a party, whatever, consider using a great sponsor of this podcast, Catering by Uptown. Visit cateringbyuptown.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. Catering by Uptown is outstanding. It is a family business. It is run by the Pereiras, who are great Washington Commanders fans. Catering by Uptown is committed to meeting your every need with elegance and precision. Catering by Uptown takes care of every detail so that you can enjoy your event. And Catering by Uptown specialty is weddings. Get excellent service at an affordable price. In fact, if you visit cateringbyuptown.com and click on venues, you can check out Catering by Uptown's premier wedding venues. Visit cateringbyuptown.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. That's cateringbyuptown.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. So the 2026 Washington Nationals entered Monday 0-29 in regular season games in which the team trailed after 8 innings. Make that record 1-29, a 4-3 win at the San Francisco Giants late night on Monday night in Game 1 of a 3-game series. This was a game in which the Nats overcame a 3-1 ninth-inning deficit by scoring 3 runs in the top of the ninth. This was maybe the win of the season for the Nats so far. They now are 34-33. 22-13 on the road versus 12-20 at home. The Giants in this regular season now are 27-40. The Nats' outstanding offense struck again. The Nats for this regular season, as I record this in the early morning hours of Tuesday, June 9th, are number one in MLB in runs scored, 356. The Nats in this game scored just one run over the first 8 innings, but then scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th. The Nats had 8 hits, which were a double, and 7 singles, drew no walks, and went 3 for 4 with runners in scoring position. The offense was far from great. Look, the Nats struggled against Giants starting pitcher Logan Webb. He allowed 1 run in 8 innings with 7 strikeouts versus no walks. But the Nats got to Giants reliever Keaton Winn, who allowed 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Winn was a mess in the Nats' 3-run ninth. Winn meant loss for the Giants in this game. The hit of the game came from C.J. Abrams. He is the Nats' starting shortstop and number 4 batter. Went 2 for 4 with a 2-run single, another single, and a stolen base. Did commit a fielding error, but Abrams in the Nats' 3-run ninth had a 1-out, 2-run single up the middle to tie the game at 3, and he had a steal of second base. Dalen Lyle, he is the Nats' starting left fielder and number 6 batter, went 1 for 4 with an RBI single. Lyle in the Nats' 3-run ninth had a 2-out RBI single to center field on a 1-2 pitch for a 4-3 Nats lead. James Wood, he is the Nats' starting right fielder and number 1 batter, went 1 for 4 with a single and a stolen base. He in the Nats' 1-run 6th put on a show. Wood in the Nats' 1-run 6th had a 2-out full count single into center field with a game-best exit velocity of 114.3 miles per hour per StatCast. He then stole second base and scored on Luis Garcia Jr.'s 2-out RBI single through the right side of the infield for a 1-0 Nats lead. And Wood scored via reaching down to touch home plate before tumbling down. That was quite the scene. And I mentioned Luis Garcia Jr. He is the Nats starting DH and number 2 batter, 2 for 4 with a double and that aforementioned RBI single. The double came with 1 out in the Nats' 3-run ninth, the good-looking double off the outfield wall in center field. The top 2 qualified Nats players at OPS for this regular season continue to be James Wood and C.J. Abrams. James Wood is at 930. C.J. Abrams is at 915. Number 3 is Luis Garcia, 736. Number 4 is Dalen Lyle, 716. But yes, the Nats offense struck again. The Nats in this 4-3 win at the Giants late night on Monday night used an opener who was relief pitcher Richard Lovelady. He tossed the scoreless spot of the first despite giving up 2 singles, and then starting pitcher Miles Michaelis came into the game as the Nats bulk pitcher, and he tossed 4 2/3 scoreless innings. So the Nats from Lovelady and Michaelis got a combined 5 2/3 scoreless innings. Terrific. You look at Miles Michaelis in this regular season, he through April had an ERA of 8.23 over 7 games, including 4 starts. But he, since the start of May, has an ERA of 4.01 over 7 games, including 2 starts. He has gone from being horrendous to being decent, if not good. He lately has been much better. It's been so good to see that. The Nats in this game used 3 pitchers beyond opener Richard Lovelady and bulkman Miles Michaelis. So Mitchell Parker allowed 1 run in 1 inning, and he was lucky that his final line wasn't worse. He faced 8 batters but got just 3 outs as he gave up 5 singles. Parker came into the game in the bottom of the 6th with the bases empty, 2 outs, and the Nats up 1-0, and he gave up a single to each of the first 3 batters he faced to tie the game at 1. Parker is not doing well. I was fine with Nats manager Blake Butera pulling Miles Michaelis when Butera did, because you got to be careful with Michaelis. You want to pull him before he starts struggling. But Parker needs to be moved down a notch in terms of being used in high leverage spots. Mitchell Parker now in this regular season at the major league level, 16 games, 32 innings, ERA of 5.34, whip of 1.28. That's actually not bad, but that 5.34 ERA is brutal. Clayton Beeter, he allowed 2 runs in 1 1/3 innings. He came into the game in the bottom of the 7th with runners at the corners, 2 outs, and the game tied at 1. And he got a big out. He got the Giants' number 4 batter, Willie Adames, to fly out to center fielder Dylan Cruz to end the 7th. But Beeter then allowed 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th. He gave up a leadoff infield single by Jung-Hoo Lee on a chopper off to the left of home plate on an 0-2 pitch. Lee initially was called out, but the Giants manager, Tony Vitello, successfully challenged the play. Beeter then committed a throwing error on a pickoff attempt. Beeter then gave up an opposite field RBI double by Bryce Eldridge to left field on an 0-2 pitch for a 2-1 Giants lead. Bryce Eldridge, a local, he went to James Madison High School in Vienna, Virginia. Beater then issued a hit by pitch of Matt Chapman and then came back-to-back sacrifice bunts by the Giants, including a went-out first pitch RBI sac bunt by Jonah Cox for a 3-1 Giants lead. So Beater ended up unraveling, but Gus Varland tossed a scoreless bottom of the ninth with 2 swinging strikeouts for the save, despite issuing a leadoff walk and despite giving up a 2-out single. So far from a clean game for the Nats bullpen, but the Nats got the win. What a win this was. Here was Blake Butera during his post-game session with reporters early Tuesday morning.
Just couldn't be happier, with how we played, especially at the end there to go down 2 runs, in a tough way late, and then to come back and not give up and put a 3 spot up there in the ninth with 1 out, nobody on. I mean, these guys don't give up. It's awesome.
What goes through your mind when C.J. Abrams is the one to walk up to the plate in that big spot?
I feel really good. All of us do. Just time in and time out, he continues to do it. Just extremely clutch. He's a leader. He loves the spotlight, and we love when he's up in big spots.
Those moments don't seem to phase him much. Even running score position, tight, potentially to be able to tie the game. He just seems so treated so regular. Is that normal? I guess he just treats it like a regular at bat almost.
Yeah, I mean he loves those situations. Like I said, we love when he's in those situations, and he wants to win. And when he gets a chance up there to help us win and can drive in runs to contribute to us winning, there's nothing he wants more than that. So whenever he gets a chance to be up in a big spot, he's fired up, we're fired up, and we feel pretty good about it.
The pitch that Lyle winds up hitting for the go-ahead single is way out of the zone. Mm-hmm. But is that just good bat control, or what did he do well on that spin?
Yeah, I mean, he does a really good job of putting the ball in play, and right there, getting a pitch out of the zone, off-speed pitch. But he knew there was a guy on second base, running in scoring position with 2 outs. He knew he just needed to get a ball at least into play. He didn't want to strike out there, and he did a really good job of competing in that at bat, and honestly, just putting the ball in play, and it found grass and helped us win.
Speaking of, I guess, guys in big moments, what do you like about Varland in that spot against the heart of their order?
He's been awesome for us. He's had some hiccups here and there, but overall, the kid wants to compete. He wants the ball in the big moment. Same with Clayton Beater. That's why he came in the game when he did too, with the game on the line, first and third, 2 outs in a tie game. Those 2 guys plus Rebalta, I mean, just the guys in the bullpen have shown us that they want the ball in big spots. It doesn't matter the pressure, and when you have guys that want the ball in those situations, you feel really good about it.
And even Michael, he got Devers out on with the runner on third, 1 out, I think it was. That was a huge pitch, and as it turned out, a very important sequence.
Yeah, he threw the ball great, and they put together some good at bats, and got traffic on the bases a couple innings there where he did a really good job of pitching out of it. I think one time there was a runner on second, nobody out, ended up getting out of it. Guys on third with less than 2 outs, getting out of it, making pitches. He did an awesome job.
I know you go into it planning to use Parker against those lefties, and that's why the lineup. What's the balance when you see how well Michael is pitching and it's 2 outs, nobody on?
Yeah, it's definitely a balance, right? And I think, the argument could have been made that we should have gone to him a few batters earlier, with Devers and Arias up there with the game where it was, where one swing of the bat changes the game. But with how he was pitching, I wanted to give him a few more batters, and then once it got to those next 2 lefties coming up with 2 outs there, I thought that was the time to go to Mitchell, the lefty, to get us out of that inning. It didn't go his way tonight, but the thing that I'm happy about with Mitchell is he attacked the zone, and that's what we preach. He gave up hits tonight, but at the end of the day, we believe in Mitch, and for him to attack the zone and not walk guys, that's what we asked.
Yeah, man, cannot say enough good things about this Nats team. Season number 1 of a restarted rebuild, and the Nats are above 500, 34-33. The run differential now is at +5, and the Nats pulled off maybe their best win of the season with what they did in this 4-3 win at the Giants late night on Monday night, overcoming a 3-1 ninth-inning deficit by scoring 3 runs in the top of the ninth. Game 2 for the Nats at the Giants, Tuesday night at 9:45. The Nats have listed Andrew Alvarez as their probable starting pitcher for the game. Look, choosing life insurance is tricky. Heck, life insurance as a topic can be uncomfortable, but Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. You'll get your lowest rate from Ethos' network of trusted carriers. And know this, Ethos has a rating of 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 4,000 reviews. Take 10 minutes today to get covered with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/Al Galdi. That's ethos.com/Al Galdi. Ethos.com/Al Galdi. Application times may vary. Rates may vary. The Baltimore Orioles off 10 wins in 14 games, now lost 3 consecutive games, and now are even more injured. A 6-3 loss to the Seattle Mariners at Oriole Park at Camden Yards on Monday evening in Game 1 of a 4-game series. This was a game in which the O's blew a 1-0 fifth-inning lead by allowing 5 runs in the top of the fifth. The O's in MLB's 2026 regular season now are 31-36. The Mariners in this regular season now are an American League West best 35-32. The O's on Monday afternoon announced having recalled pitcher Trey Gibson from AAA Norfolk, a 4th time since May 3rd that he had been promoted from AAA Norfolk. He on Monday evening was the Orioles starting pitcher. He officially allowed 3 runs in 4 2/3 innings, tossed 4 scoreless innings, but got charged with 3 runs in the Mariners' 5-run fifth. 2 Orioles relievers officially combined to allow 3 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Anthony Nunez officially allowed 2 runs in 2 1/3 innings. He and that Mariners' 5-run fifth gave up a 2-out grand slam by Josh Naylor to right field for a 5-1 Mariners lead. Anthony Nunez for this regular season is number 1 among all Orioles pitchers in games 30, but his ERA is 5.29. Not good when the pitcher who leads you in appearances has an ERA of 5.29. And Albert Suarez allowed 1 run in 2 innings. But the reason that Trey Gibson was the Orioles starting pitcher in this game was that the O's on Monday afternoon announced having placed starting pitcher Chris Bassett on the 15-day injured list, retroactive to June 5th, due to lower back discomfort, and so his rough season continues. So the O's on February 13th announced having agreed with Bassett on a 1-year contract as a free agent. The 1-year contract reportedly was worth $18.5 million. So this is his age 37 season, and it is not going well. Bassett for this regular season, 12 games, including 10 starts, ERA of 5.27, whip of 1.63, and he's now on the 15-day injured list, and he joins the list of Orioles players on injured list. So the following Orioles players are on injured list: third baseman / second baseman Jordan Westburg, first baseman Ryan Mountcastle, outfielder Dylan Beavers, starting pitchers Chris Bassett, Zach Eflin, Dean Kramer, and Cade Povich, and relief pitchers Ryan Helsley, Felix Bautista, Yaramil Geraldo, and Colin Selby. A lot of guys for the O's on injured list, and this a 3rd consecutive season in which the O's are being hit hard by injury. And O's manager Craig Albernaz, he during his pregame press conference on Monday afternoon revealed that catcher Samuel Basallo, of whom Albernaz spoke in a somewhat cryptic way during his postgame session with reporters on Sunday afternoon, has a, quote, bony growth, end quote, in a wrist, and that has been bothersome for Basallo, who on Monday evening did not start but did pinch hit, and that ended up being a story in and of itself. Basallo, with runners at the corners, hit into a flyout to start a double play to end the bottom of the 8th as Blaze Alexander got thrown out by Mariners center fielder Julio Rodriguez in attempting to advance from first base to second base. Jackson Holliday originally was ruled to have scored before Blaze Alexander was tagged out at second base, but upon replay review, the call was overturned. The replay center in New York City ruled that Alexander was tagged out before Holliday touched home. But, looking back at what Albernaz said during his postgame session with reporters on Sunday afternoon, he pretty clearly was saying that Basallo needs to learn to play through pain. Here was that exchange.
We saw Basallo obviously stayed in the game after the tag attempt. He was pinch hit for later. Was that a matchup base, or was there something else there?
Not a matchup base. Sammy is learning. He's learning a lot how to play through being nicked up when everything is checked out and everything is fine. So Sammy's learning to play through some adversity right now.
Yeah, now that we have more info, Craig Albernaz pretty clearly was saying that Samuel Basallo needs to learn to play through pain. Interesting that Albernaz went public with that plea. A manager doesn't do that unless he's especially frustrated with a player. And speaking of frustrating, the Orioles offense in this 6-3 loss to the Mariners at Oriole Park at Camden Yards on Monday evening was not good. Just 3 runs, just 6 hits, all of which were singles. Just 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. The O's did draw 6 walks, but the O's struggled against Mariners starting pitcher Emerson Hancock, who allowed 1 run in 5 innings, giving him an ERA of 2.74 over 13 games, all starts in this regular season. 5 of the Orioles' 6 hits came from just 3 guys: Taylor Ward, Gunnar Henderson, and Blaze Alexander. Ward and Henderson each got on base 4 times. Taylor Ward as the Orioles starting left fielder and number 1 batter, 2 for 3 with 2 singles, a walk, and a hit by pitch. He, for this regular season, now has an OPS of 767, including an on-base percentage of 403. Gunnar Henderson, he is the Orioles starting DH and number 2 batter, went 1 for 2 with a single and 3 walks. Good to see him get on base 4 times, but I still cannot get over how poorly he's doing in this regular season. OPS of just 706, including an on-base percentage of just 287. It is a minor miracle that the O's overall are doing well offensively, despite all of the injuries and despite Gunnar Henderson underperforming. And Blaze Alexander, he had that aforementioned base running blunder, but he is the Orioles starting shortstop and number 8 batter, went 2 for 3 with an RBI single, another single, and a hit by pitch. He, for this regular season, now has an OPS of 740. He's doing a nice job for the O's. But this was Craig Albernaz during his post-game press conference on Monday night on Alexander getting thrown out and tagging up from first to second. And then you'll hear a follow-up exchange between O's insider Jacob Calvin-Meyer of the Baltimore Sun and Albernaz. And then you'll hear a follow-up exchange between O's insider Rich Dubroff of BaltimoreBaseball.com and Albernaz.
Talked to Blaze the next inning. I love the aggressiveness, but like I told Blaze, and him being an infielder, he knows the cutoff and how it gets aligned and configured. And first base is vacant by position, so there's no one at first. So him tagging up and then running is the right play. But he has the ability to read the throw, and he can literally stop and just walk back to first. And that's what we talked about. Like, once he sees the throw online, and we all know Julio can throw. Like, he's a premium defender in center field. It surprised me that he kept going. But it's one of those things where I love the aggressiveness. It's just smart aggressiveness and knowing and reading the throw and getting back. And Holiday did an outstanding job of running hard through home. That was the first thing I looked at on the high home. Like, he tagged up and he didn't let up, running hard through home. So Holiday did an outstanding job on that. It's just Blake just has to read the throw and just get back to first.
Is an example of how to do that there, Holiday earlier in the inning. I think he tagged up from first, and the throw from Julio was a little bit off target, and Holiday didn't at first seem to kind of wait to see it. Is that the right way to do it?
Yeah, exactly. The play's in front of you. You can see it develop. And like I said, when the throw is online, you can see it. Just get back to first. Yeah, that one hurt.
With all the runners left on base and the missed scoring opportunities and the split, was this an especially annoying loss for you?
No, I wouldn't say annoying. It's not to disregard. Yes, we left a lot of guys on base, but we know coming in, like with Seattle, pitching is their strength. It always has been. And Emerson's having a great year, throwing the ball extremely well. Their bullpen has always been a force. And so going into it, we knew we had to grind and really force them to work. And we did that. We just couldn't come through with the big blow. But it's one of those games where you're proud of how they fought. And because every opportunity, like we talked about pregame, like the blows, like we could have easily, our guys could have folded, but they kept on fighting and giving themselves opportunity. It's just that big knock just eluded us. And we hit some balls hard and well that I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't leave the yard. Cowsers in particular, and then Basayo, the one that we're talking about with that play. Like it was, I thought all those would have a chance to leave the yard. They just didn't.
No, they did not. Game 2 for the O's against the Mariners at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, Tuesday evening at 6:35. The O's have listed Trevor Rogers as their probable starting pitcher for the game. And that'll do it for you and me for now, but there's more to come. Wednesday's show, episode 1344, will include a lot for you on the Washington Commanders as they on Tuesday are beginning their third of three-day sessions of OTAs this offseason. Also on Wednesday's show, I'll talk Washington Nationals and Baltimore Orioles. The Nats are at the San Francisco Giants Tuesday night at 9:45 for Game 2 of a 3-game series. The O's are home to the Seattle Mariners Tuesday evening at 6:35 for Game 2 of a 4-game series. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
What the Commanders would like to do is sign him without having to trade him. So, Tom, we're in a situation where nobody wants to move at all. They're all staring at each other. There's really no deadline to make a move at all. So until and unless everyone gets tired of Brandon Aiyuk sending Instagram messages, this is going to be a storyline that takes us through the summer.